Mindful Life Practice community.
Okay, so in a moment, I will move over to my mat and kind of show you the layout of what I have going on today. Um, but you all are really the experts of your own practice. And so, definitely at any point in time, if your body, your mind, your spirit is telling you that you want something different, please go with that. So the props that I have over here today, first, I took a blanket and I laid a blanket over my mat just to add a little bit more cushion and softness to really start to invite that sense of relaxation. And then we're going to try to leave the props in pretty much the same place for most of what I have planned today. And so if you're coming along with me, what I've got is a long yoga bolster and I've got two um, blocks. And so this would be a great setup for lots of things like the reclined butterfly, child's pose, and we'll just kind of leave it there. Where we're starting today is with a little heart opener, but we'll start with straight legs. So once you get that set up, and I've got, slow down, Shavon. I've got one block set on the middle setting and then one on the lower setting. But make whatever adjustments and whatever height is comfortable for you. Where we'll start is coming and centering our lower back in front of what you've built here, extending the legs long to start, placing the hands on the bolster, and then just slowly lowering yourself back. Maybe allowing the arms to fall out to the side, just taking note of where they just naturally land, and then ask yourself, are you happy with that placement? And if not, make whatever adjustments are necessary as you try to find that sweet spot. Just allow your legs to fall out to the side, right foot, right knee out to the right, left foot, left knee out to the left. And then if you have um, any additional pillows or blankets, they may be useful here as places to prop up the arms. And so I can lay my forearms here, palms face up or face down. It doesn't matter. It's all right. It's just which one are you most drawn to right now? And perhaps considering walking your shoulder blades in towards one another to give yourself a little bit of additional support there. And you may even start to feel a little more opening across the front of the body. And then can you exhale and just try to release all of the rest of your effort once you get into a spot that you really feel like you can get comfortable in for the next few minutes. And if you've chosen a different pose, like if this is just not doing it for you, or you knew when you sat down that there was something else, somewhere else you wanted to go, then just take a moment to just make sure that you're nice and comfortable and settled. And then start to just notice your breath. Like your breath will tell you whether or not you're in the right spot. So just take a moment and listen to the messages that it's sending you. And notice your body anywhere that you may be holding on to tension. Notice any places that feel like they're in need of even a slight adjustment or a slight movement. Notice any areas that are not attached to any propping, and Make any adjustments there if you're being called to that. Maybe grabbing some additional pillows, some additional blankets to give yourself what you need. And then come back to your breath. Maybe tracing a path as your breath enters and leaves the body. Maybe slowly trying to keep count of the inhale and the exhale. Just whatever other tricks that you've learned to bring yourself to this moment right here, right now. If you are in the spirit of setting an intention, then I invite you to do that, knowing that you can always choose presence. You can always forego the intention and just let go of any expectation of having one or any expectation of what this practice is supposed to look like. And just embracing the rest and the relaxation that you came here for. And so maybe if your mind starts to wander, you just give it a nice little nudge without judgment, always compassion. Just remind it that you came here to rest. You came here to relax. You showed up on your mat today to get grounded. The best things in life are free. When the world becomes too overwhelming, as it often does, leave it all behind. Get back to the basics and escape within yourself. Pretend that nothing else exists except you. What part of your body feels the safest and the calmest right now? Center yourself there and let everything else fall away. Let's take 5 more rounds of breath in this shape. And then how would it feel to take three more that are just a little bit deeper? And whatever that means to you. And then when you're ready, slowly slide your hands back so that they're a little closer to your hips or the bottom of the bolster. And slowly start to work your way up to a seated shape, nice and slow. And then for just a moment, just a breath or two, can you bring the soles of the feet together so that your legs are sort of in this triangle shape? Or maybe just sitting here in this upright position, or if you think it'll feel good, just start to fold forward just a little bit. You're not making an attempt to go any further than where you naturally stop. And just take 3 rounds of breath here. And then if you took the slight fold, then inhale to lift yourself back up so that you're upright. Let's leave the left leg where it is, and let's internally rotate the right thigh, bringing the thigh to the sole of the left foot. So the foot rests right on the thigh and um, right above the knee, or right on top of the knee. Let's shift the left hip a little bit closer to the bolster. And we're going to go into a twist here. Legs are at about a 90-degree angle. And then place your hands on either side of the bolster, turning your torso so that it's as parallel as it's going to get. And then start to walk yourself down. Just taking a breath here and asking yourself whether or not it wants to lay the left ear onto the bolster, or whether you're inspired by a little more of a twist and you'd like to bring your right ear down to the bolster, or perhaps you decide to stay more centered and there's a block or something that you can bring underneath the forehead to give yourself enough space that you can breathe here. And if you're not sure which one to try them all, and then choose the one that best suits you. And if this positioning of the legs is just not what it needs to be for you today, then consider how you might adjust that. And so that adjustment may look like bringing the right knee on top of the left, or placing a blanket underneath the left knee, or any combination of things that you may already be experimenting with, because you know what to do for your body and your practice. Or maybe your arms are flat on the floor on either side of the bolster, or maybe you've brought some pillows along to prop the arms up onto, or maybe you've decided to grab opposite wrists or opposite forearms as you hug the bolster nice and tight before turning all of the work over to the props and just letting go. Noticing how your breath feels in this shape. And again, paying attention to what it's telling you. Did you choose the right position? Do you need to move? Can you find rest here? Notice anywhere that you may be holding yourself up. And what can you do to give that responsibility over to the props that you have so that you can do less? You may notice a sensation along the left side of your body or the right. If that sensation is a yes, then go with it. If not, please choose a different variation. Let's take 5 more rounds of breath on this side. And then when you're ready, if you're here with me in this twist, just gently slide your hands back so that they're maybe closer to the shoulders as you start to walk your hands back towards your thigh, working your way up to a seated shape. And then pause here for a moment. And then when you're ready, shift so that your lower back is in front of the bolster once again. Maybe scooting back if you had to adjust the other way, bringing the soles of the feet to touch, knees out to the side. Bring your hands down to the bolster and let's lower back down for a reclined supported butterfly. Noticing if any props need to be pulled under the knees or thighs so that there's not so much sensation there and you don't have to do any work to hold them in place. And forearms may be on the floor, Perhaps you bring one palm to the belly and one to the heart. Or you may select something else entirely. Let's take 5 more rounds of breath in this shape. And feel free to stay if this is your posture of choice. But if you're ready to move, just slowly and gently work your way up to a seated shape in any way that makes sense for you. That may be rolling over to one side, or you may be able to sit straight up. If your feet separated from one another, just bring them back for a breath or two, and then gently fold forward. Give yourself a little wiggle if that feels appropriate. And then at the bottom of your next exhale, inhale yourself upright. This time leaving the right leg where it is and sliding any props out of the way if you had something under your knees or thighs if you need to. And then let's turn the left leg in so that the left thigh rests on the sole of the right foot. Shift your hips so that you're bringing your right hip this time to the edge of the bolster. And then slowly turn, hands on either side. And then lengthen up and walk yourself down. Pausing here, asking yourself which ear, if any, will be able to find rest, or bringing your forehead down to the bolster or to a block or to a pillow. And just making sure you give yourself enough space to breathe. And checking in with your legs and noticing whether or not any adjustments need to be made. And giving your hips a shift if that's necessary. And then let everything go and just sink into the props, sink into the floor. Continue making whatever adjustments are necessary. And then release all the doing. And just let everything relax. 5 more rounds of breath. And then when you're ready, slowly walk the hands down towards the bottom of the bolster to work your way up slowly to a seated shape. Taking a moment here to take in as much breath as you can and let it all go. And then turn yourself back towards the front short edge of the mat. From here, let's extend the legs out to the side. Give them a little wiggle if that'll feel good. And then maybe take the bolster and place it in front of you. And we'll take a forward fold here. So I'm placing the bolster well, at an angle, and then just lowering down just as much as I want to. I'm gonna stop where it feels good. I can move it away from me if I want to come down a little bit more. Option to also place the bolster on the floor and prop it up on additional pillows or blocks, just kind of deciding where you want to go. You may notice that there's a lot of sensation along the back of your legs, and perhaps placing something under the knees or just bending them slightly may help. And there's an option if you'd prefer to take a child's pose rather than this forward fold. And please feel free to do so. Let's take 5 more rounds of breath in this forward fold. And maybe you can feel yourself sink a little deeper with each out breath. And then when you're ready, and slowly work yourself up to a seated shape, taking your time. And then let's find our final resting pose of the practice. So that may look like bringing your legs together and slowly lowering yourself down for a traditional Shavasana shape. Maybe even considering bringing a bolster or pillow or stacked pillows underneath the legs or the knees. Or perhaps you've chosen to take an inversion like legs up the wall. All of those options are free for your selection. Choose the one that is calling to you tonight or this morning. And then simply release all remaining effort as you soak in these last few moments of rest. 5 more rounds of breath. The aim of yoga is to become aware of the unity of all aspects of your being, your body, mind, and spirit, so that the clear light of the soul shines through your thoughts, emotions, words, actions, and physical body. Yoga philosophy tells us that there are 5 layers of being called the koshas. Each layer or sheath is interconnected and influences the other. We experience wholeness, health, and well being when all 5 sheaths are integrated. The yoga journey guides us from the outermost layer of the being, the physical body, to the innermost layer of being, the soul, the core of our being. Giving time to yourself instead of everything else allows you to recharge and reconnect with your energy and power. This will give you the gift of harmony as you give yourself the gift of rest. When you're ready, take 3 more rounds of breath that are intentionally a little bit deeper as you work to cue the body and letting it know that it's time to move. And then, in whatever way makes the most sense for you tonight or this morning, work your way up to a seated shape. And once you've arrived, just take a moment to acknowledge your efforts to bring rest and relaxation to all of your layers of self tonight. And I thank you for allowing me to lead you through that practice, even though you have all of the tools to lead yourself. If you're so inspired, maybe you bring palms to touch, thumb knuckles at the heart, as we take 3 more rounds of collective breath to conclude this practice together. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste.